Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Youth on the Wheels. We are Noah and Hawa, your hosts, and we appreciate you joining the conversation. Hi everyone, welcome to Youth on the Wheels with Hawa and Noah. This is our third episode and we are happy to have you here. So because this is Women's Month, our podcast theme is Breaking Barriers, Building Together as Women. And I'm excited because in our house, we have an awesome, amazing, intelligent, beautiful young lady. Woo! Her name is Mwanaisha Musa.
Yeah.
Mwanaisha is an amazing lady, like I have said. She is a dynamic entrepreneur and the founder of Asasi Modest Wear. Guys, I've been dressed by Asasi Modest Wear today as we speak. Asasi Modest Wear is a Kampala-based brand redefining modest fashion. Beyond the world of business, she is a digital enthusiast, a peace advocate, and a fierce champion for climate justice, gender equity, dedicated to empowering girls and women. And I don't think we made the wrong decision, Noah, with having Mwanaisha as our guest. So, Mwanaisha, yes. We want you to say a word or two before we dive into the deeper conversations. We are happy to have you here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
What made you say yes?
I'm already blown off my feet. I want to hide. Thank you so much for those beautiful and kind words. What made me say yes? Why would I not say yes to anything youth, guys, to anything women, to anything progressive? Any day, anytime, 3 a.m., call me, I'm in.
Are you sure? We shall call you.
Anything for Hawa and Noah.
We'll call you. We'll take you up on that. So we'll go straight to the conversation and we'll start at your personal journey.
Yeah.
Looking back, what single barrier felt the most defining in shaping you and your journey as a woman? And
Poverty.
How have you evolved?
Poverty.
Poverty was the barrier.
Lack, yes. Lack, poverty, money. I don't know what other words can I use? Financial what?
Poor financial management.
Poor financial management, interdependence, financial illiteracy, everything to do with money, not having money, lacking. I think that is my biggest drive, and it still keeps on driving me because I do not want to be in that point ever again in my life. And for me, that is, I know, was my biggest barrier as a woman, but that speaks for so many other women in Uganda, around me, all over the world. Financial independence is one of the biggest things for us as women that we need and that will solve our biggest problems. And so for me, it is one of the barriers or one of the things that fueled me into telling myself, you know what, I need to do better. I need to have better money habits. I need to have money for myself. I need to not be a burden. I need to be in a space where I can make, you guys, you know what money does.
Mm-hmm. Tell us
you
more.
can speak because you have money.
Yeah.
So for me, the feeling of having to depend on anyone else just fueled for me my passion for business, my passion for finances, for money, and the work that I'm currently doing. So I was answering the barrier for me that was one of my biggest challenges. I mean, there's so many other challenges that come for us as women.
Is poverty the biggest barrier for you as a woman?
For me, I feel like it's what drives me to do the work that I do, or drove me to say, you know what, I need to have money. I need to have this business. I need to have it running. One of it, that the barrier was poverty. That was a barrier. But also a problem that I saw in there for me also was with the business that I have, Asasi Modesty, is that the fact that people made modesty look boring, or I should say boring or not affordable. So backward or barbaric, or the people who have Islamophobia and making our dressing look like it is modest, it is not freedom. I mean, if we're speaking about women having the freedom to do what they want, they can also dress up as they like. And dressing up as I like means also covering up as I like.
Yeah.
So for me, all that also came into play to create the business that I want. But I also do other ventures and other businesses. And for me, I go back to poverty.
So
you
how
are fighting.
Kusente silver, well, guys. The key
so,
is
like, is it
there.
how is it a general barrier for? Do you think it's the general barrier for most women? Because now I've seen that for her, like she has just told us, poverty is the biggest barrier.
Poverty, yes.
That has.
I think, I feel like also poverty has become subjective over the years because rural poverty is different from urban poverty.
Yeah.
And urban
It's
poverty
subjective,
is
yeah.
worse than rural poverty. So when Mwanaisha is talking, I know that so many young women, girls and women are in situations they would want to be out of. But because they are not economically independent or economically literate, they can't make these decisions. So I know that it's really one of the barriers that women struggle to make out there, or like it's one of the barriers women face.
It stops you from doing so many things.
From doing so many things.
Achieving your dreams, living some relationships. It is what ties our parents, our mothers, our grandparents in toxic relationships, in abusive marriages.
Yeah.
It is what makes you get tied to particular things. It
It inhibits self-love.
Exactly.
And how you show up for your
self-care.
children.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
So what internal narratives or societal expectations did you have to overcome in order to unlearn and relearn and then tackle the barrier of poverty? Like,
Yeah.
what are those things that were taught to you by society? And then when you realized poverty is your biggest barrier, you had to unlearn those things.
Yeah. Not being able to say no as a woman and conforming to what is already there. I think for me, as a young woman, and for what I do and what I have achieved, I had to say no.
Yeah.
I had to have uncomfortable conversations. I had to do things differently to have a different outcome for myself as a woman, and not be in the same kind of loop or the same kind of community that have been brought up into, where women are reliant on men, on their husbands, on their brothers, when all there is to me is my children that I don't even have capacity to take care of, when all that is to me is taking care of my family. Like, that is the community that I was brought up into. And for me to be able to live that, I had to say no very many times. I had to not listen. And I had to take the hard decisions and leave my comfort zones. When I was creating Asasi, for example, it started as an online business. Just a campus girl trying to make a living, trying to have cute outfits, but also have her friends wear cute outfits. And if you follow Asasi, you can see that it's sort of a community of hijabis. It is not a me thing alone now. It is my friends, it is my community, it is my sisters, it is everyone around me being an Asasi babe. So taking you back, when I was starting it was online. It was an online business, making deliveries and whatnot, and using Instagram and using TikTok and word of mouth and whatnot. So I did feel sometime last year, the year before, I think.
2023?
Yes, I felt ready to start up a shop. I felt that we needed a location. And I was discouraged by so many people because I asked so many people, do you think it's a good idea for me to ask to start up a shop? No, people are closing. I think that was post-COVID. I think.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying the economy is so bad. You cannot be starting a shop at this time. You cannot be. People are not. But then I'm noticing that I am actually making sales online. No, you cannot go into this. No, a shop is a bad idea and whatnot. People are telling me. Everyone was giving me the disadvantages of having a shop. no one ever told me, yeah, go ahead and have the shop.
Yeah.
So, and I somehow took that in, because it does get into like, no, it's not a good idea. But then after a while, I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm not going to ask anyone. I think this is good enough. I did my calculations. I did my prayers.
You do it.
course.
Added some
You are delulu with your doers.
Dua is the Solulu.
Yes. And I did my prayers and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this and I will do it. And when I was starting it, I went solo. That is, I went in solo. But now again, I told you Asasi is a community thing.
Yeah.
But when I was opening up the shop, actually, no one knew. Not even my friends, not even my family. I just went in and just told them. I started moving in things. And thank God, I think I got the shop like in a week. Paid everything in a week. Set up everything like in a week. I was on leave from work. No, I didn't have a job. Did I have a job then? I don't know.
It was the main hustle.
Yes, so I moved in a week. I did everything, and then I let people know that we are open. And everyone was now wondering, you're actually open? And fingers were really crossed, and I'm wondering. I was also doubting myself. Meanwhile, I was like, I'm doing this, but
You did it scared.
I did it scared. I did it anyways.
Yeah.
And in like 3 days, when I opened Asasi, I got clients, actually. Random clients, random walking clients. And I made a good sale in like 3 days. And I'm like, no one is telling me anything. I think from then I was like, no.
Tebaina
This
chebangamba.
tebaina chebangamba at
Otandikosha.
any- like otandikosha kungamba anything at any point of my life. Like it is working, and alhamdulillah, we are going into a year in June. We're making a year in June, and it has been a beautiful journey. So now community comes in later on, because I couldn't do it alone. I couldn't do it alone. It's a big thing. It's I needed it to be out there, and I needed people to own it up. It is not my thing. I do not want Asasi to be like I want it to be a girl's thing. So it is out there. It is for everyone. It is for you. It is for me.
So what you're basically saying is when we are starting, when the youth out there, the women out there are starting out, they should focus on them, how they feel about the situations they are trying to change, the barriers they're trying to break, and then maybe later on work on community, because you started by saying no, right? And then you were seeking advice from other people, but you when it came to making that decision, you chose what you really wanted, and that has pushed you a long way, because you saw the vision and not everyone was seeing the same thing.
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Nice.
Say no.
Yeah.
Very many no's will take you places as a woman, because we are taught not to. We are brought up not
To
being
people
able
please.
to say no. Yes, to people please, to but keep on saying no. Say no, and also for community, design your own community, make your own tribe, because when we say community, it is not family, it is the people you curate, you do it yourself, you create your own community, you create your own tribe, and those are the people that feed you, the people you feed into, the people whose energy feed into yours, and you feed your people.
Mutualism. There is a
Yes,
sense
there's
of
mutualism. It's people you love and love you back, people who would do the same thing you do for them, the people whose love for you is unconditional, whose love for them is unconditional, people you can run back to at the end of the day, people who will hold you, because at the end of the day, we don't need community, but the community designed for yourself. Because if I tell you need community, there's community that is going to break you down, that is going to, I don't think it's actually called community, another word, they're people. But yeah, that is what I was saying.
You have explored the barrier of poverty, and you have probably talked about the barrier that's like in the economic aspect of life. I want to hear more. Could you say a little more about other barriers women face in other aspects of life, or your barriers have just been economical as Mwanaisha?
Oh no, there are so many. for me, I spoke about poverty being the drive for the work that I do. There's so many things that I do. If you know me, you know I have a handful of things that I do.
You're a whole package.
Yes, please. I do so many things, and that is one of the drives. But also for me, the barriers or the challenges or the systems that have been around in place that stop me and so many women from being what we want to be, the way the society has designed us to not, you can dream, but not too big. Yeah. You can speak, but not too loud.
Yeah.
You can show up, but not too much. Like, do it in moderation all the time. Walking on eggshells. And I think for me, one of those were some of the challenges that for me as a child was always being told, you're being too this. You're either being too much, you're either being too loud, you're asking too many questions, you want too much, you're dreaming too big. So why does it have to be like that for me? And it is not the same for my brother. It is not the same for any other man. But for me, we are saying that there's development for women, there's emancipation for women, but there's still
a social fabric that's not untangled.
Oh, it has to be
you can
measured.
do it. Yes, in measures. Like, yes, you can be the woman, you can be independent, you can be the CEO, but you should go home and kneel to your husband. I should do that when I want to. But the fact that there's
a censorship.
Yes, that you can do what you can, but minimally. And for me, I think that is exactly. I want to call that modern day patriarchy.
Yeah.
That you actually done the work, yes. But now there's also you can go to work, you can do whatever you want to do, but you have to be a mother. You have to take care of your husband. You have to, and now it's even worse because now the load is bigger than what it used to be for the women who you used to have to stay at home and just maybe do home care and just take care of the children. Now we have to do it double as the modern day women. You're doing that, and on top of it, you're paying bills. So
not to be the devil's advocate here, but there are men that will argue that in those days it was simpler for the women. You had to just do homework. If a man can afford to sustain the entire family, why don't you stay at home and just do that work? Would you have a problem with a man who thinks like that? I want my woman to stay at home, take care of kids, take care of me, love me. I just want her there. I'll go and look for the money.
First of all, why do we have the my? Why do we have the possession in there? My woman. Like we need to be, the fact that there's that is already showing that women are a possession. Yeah, I need my woman to do this. I need my woman to do this. Why should it be there, first of all? And for me, those are like the root causes of these things. I think women should be able to have the ability and the freedom to decide what they want to decide and live their lives the way they want to live. If they want to be stay-home moms, go ahead and be a stay-home mom. If they want to be working career women, go ahead and do that. If they want to do, like, the freedom for them to be able to do that and not have to tie it down to their husbands or their children or make decisions because of their husbands or their children, because men don't make their decisions like that. Okay. It's different for them.
I think when you say that, something that emerged for me, I was having a conversation recently with a friend of mine, and it wasn't an argument, but I was having the battle or the point of contention of why can't a girl just exist as a girl and then judged by her own establishment as a girl, right? Why do we have the measure of Like, when we are talking about guys, like I'm going to talk about, if I'm talking about Noah, it's I'm measuring him according to him, right? Like, what do you want to do? So if you're here now, go do this. Maybe like how you're moving, how you're
basically
progressing.
about Noah.
But then for a girl, it's like you're measured in range of a man. And I don't know whether it's patriarchy that's like invisibly encrypted in the system, in the social system or the social fabric, that when you are ambitious, it's not you being ambitious as you, as a girl, as a woman. It is you are too ambitious because your range is subconsciously, it's a man supposed to be that ambitious. But you're now, you get what I mean? And I really don't know where it comes from. I feel like I don't know how we can dismantle that and come down to how we can help girls address that barrier. Because for me, I feel like when Mwanaisha is saying that people said I should not start the shop, I bought into that. Then after some time, because she realized what could be the worst if I did this. And then she realized that's like maybe not serving me. So let me just give it a try and see what comes. And then I'm thinking, how many girls out there are in that state of, should I start? Should I not? Should I do this? Should I not? Should I, like that, imposter syndrome that is from without, and yet within they don't even have that voice of, let me take this risk and see what happens.
How says she does not know where this comes from. It is the system that we've been in for thousands of years, and we are not going to end it now. But of course, we can do something about it. So we are dealing with deep-rooted, deep-seated, systematic barriers that have been there for 1,000 of years, like from the beginning of time for women.
And yet we are speaking from a point of privilege, because the Miriam Matembes keeps saying that you people are lucky.
Exactly.
So on that point, exactly, I want to ask you, because you said your shop has a community around it. And so you as Mwanaisha, what are you doing to help those girls out there or your community to break that barrier that they have had for a long time?
It's something I'm doing for within myself and the people that are around me. I want them to see my life as something they can look at and get inspiration from. I live my life showing girls that they can do anything and everything that they choose to be. They can do anything and everything that they want at any time. It does not matter what kind of background they are from. It does not matter who they are. It does not matter. It is them. They can curate their lives. So for me, I think and that is the life that I'm leading, and that is the life I want them to see. Yeah. But also what I'm doing is that with Asasi, for example, all the people that I work with, everyone that I work with is a girl, And for me, I find that as a way of empowering, that if I need anyone to work with, I'm working with the girls around me, the community around me. But also I've supported a few girls also to start up their businesses, still in the same line with modesty, but also in other businesses. I help them set it up. I help them run it, help them see growth and see how they can start. So for me, that is what I'm doing, that we are starting up businesses, girl-led businesses, and with the littlest that we have, but also making it a bigger thing for them to thrive as girls, but also for all of us to thrive in that sort of community. Yeah.
Do you think strategic collaboration with men? Because sometimes when I'm having conversations with Hawa, she says it's a man's world.
Men have ruled for long. Please sit down.
So if we're to go with that narrative, it's a man's world. Do you think having strategic collaborations with men can improve girl-led businesses, for example?
I'm not overthinking the fact that I should work with men, but no, for me and the community that I'm building, I am not we are not strategizing with men, first of all, because no, I do not want you in the business. It is not, you're not my person. I didn't create it for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, men buy from us. They buy for their women. Thank you, the Hajis that buy for their girls. But for now, I am not working with any men. And it is intentional because it is not for them. Like, the nature of the business is not for them for now. It is for the women, for the girls for now. But to answer your question, when we are doing other work, when we are trying to break stereotypes and these gender norms, we need everyone in this. It is not something that we can do as women alone. We need the men, because I mean, it's not like, if we could, but it's not like we can wake up and just have men going extinct. We have to thrive and live with them. So for me, I think it is important that we strategically collaborate with
What does strategic look like?
So
how do you live and work with men?
For me, I feel like, first of all, the problem, patriarchy is an us problem. It is not only a woman problem. It's not only a man problem. It's an us problem, and it is something that is not only not being held by men. I know very many women who are gatekeepers of the patriarchy, and
majority of the gatekeepers.
I know women being the women who are doing a disservice to all the other women, holding these stereotypes, holding their girls and women. In fact, as we are growing up, it is our mothers and our grandmothers who designed this for us. But I mean, again, it is how they have been designed from the beginning. It was a man's thing. The man did it, and then it's a generational thing. And for us to do away with generational things, we need to bring in all generations. And even for us to prepare to have progressive men, they need to understand the dangers and how deep and how we need to do away with this. But how are we going to do away with this if we keep on we keep on letting the men be where they are and working in silos? No, I think for me, the men, the progressive men that I've worked with, that understand, understand even basic things like consent, like gender norms, like stereotypes, that understand progressiveness, is because of continued learning, continued studying, but continued engagement and working with women, and actually understanding how deep and how bad patriarchy eats us up as a society. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mwanaisha. We're going to take a short break, and we'll return after this.
All right.
Looking for high-quality audio production? Whether you're a podcaster, musician, or filmmaker, Mulika Studios brings innovation, creativity, and originality to every project. From professional recording and mixing to top-tier sound design, we ensure clarity and impact in every sound. And now, we're expanding knowledge with Mulika Audio School. Learn audio production, sound design, and music composition, all online, anytime, anywhere. Quality, authenticity, excellence. That's Mulika Studios. Let's create something original. Visit www.mulikastudios.com or contact +256 756 150 993 to book your session today. Mulika Studios, illuminating sound.
You're most welcome. We are now back from our break. And like we mentioned earlier, our guest today is Mwanaisha Musa, dynamic entrepreneur, passionate female advocate, peace advocate, and all those things. And with my co-host Noah in the house, we are discussing the theme, breaking barriers, building together. So this is the Women's Month, and I think that's why I'm really, really excited. And the International Women's Day theme for this year is Accelerate Action. And I want to pose a question to Mwanaisha. As everything you have talked about community, you have talked about poverty, you have talked about the patriarchy and the man's world and all these things that we are undergoing or that we are facing as girls. So I want to ask, overcoming the barriers that you are overcoming or navigating or that you have already overcome, has it been solo efforts or have you been supported by women? And what does support look like to you? I've heard that women are their worst enemies and all these, I don't know, stereotypes or things we keep hearing when the narratives we grow up with of like, hey, women to women, what? So do you believe?
Common is jealousy.
Jealousy, they are envious of each other, they can't support each other, what?
Wow.
So is that your story? How has your experience been around support?
I hate that narrative because for me, no one has held me together like women, like my community of women, like my mothers, like my sisters, like my girlfriends, my mentors. No one has given me that kind of sisterhood, friendships, collaborations. For me, I've not had that experience. And I feel like every time people have that experience, it is a two-sided thing. I hate it when people make that statement that you've made and put it on a gender thing. It's not a gender thing. It's a human thing. Anyone can be jealous. Anyone can be bad. Anyone, man, woman, anyone. So people have had bad relationships, bad collaborations with anyone, really. So it's a human thing that we have such. But for me, for everything that I achieved, everything that I have done, there was a woman. At the front, at the back, on the side, there was always a woman. And the most significant relationships I know that, for me, I know as a woman is all the ones that I've experienced are my relationships with women. The sisterhoods, how beautiful they are, the friendships, very unconditional, very tight friendships, the collaborations that we do together, the support, the activism. For me, for example, in my feminist space, it is just the women. So I would like to demystify that stereotype of women fighting women. No, it is a statement it's a statement made by men to create fight. It is a divide and rule sort of
Power and control.
Yes, power, control, divide and rule, that you fight yourselves and then you run to the man to be your savior, which is not true.
Mwanaisha.
No.
I'm going to defend the men here, but anyways.
Please do.
I just wanted to ask you, so you mean you have not had a situation, like it could be just a fallout with a female friend? You have not had a single moment?
It was, no. But if it were ever to happen, it would not be because they are female. That is all I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Humans fall out. People fall out. People have fights. Not on the basis of their gender. Like, I'm hating on you because I'm a woman. Like, or because you get what I mean. Like, there are fallouts. I agree that people have fallouts. People have fights. People have anything. But it is not because they are doing it because they are female. And that is the narrative you're
so
trying
if I was
to
to ask you, right, what's the one single moment that you have fallen out with a female friend that you won't forget?
Asking me?
Yeah.
I said I don't have that yet.
So you haven't
Why is
had
it yet?
You're
I'm not
he's killing-
envisioning
No,
it.
why are you killing my? Why are you killing my girl? Why are you cornering her?
No. I've not had it yet in a sense of that. I'm not hoping to have one yet.
But you don't know the future.
Of course, exactly. I don't know the future. And then there's nothing significant that Banange, Chendi No. It was Chendi was done to me by a man.
And that's not you don't want to have that conversation.
That's
right
a topic for another day.
I want to ask this support thing that we are talking. Recently, we were discussing we are having a situation in the country of the suicide cases that are on the rise among young people. And these are young people that when sometimes they say the problem, you feel like it can't pose someone to die by suicide by the millennials, right? By the millennials or the boomers, like the other generations. Now, us, the Gen Zs, are wondering that where is this coming from? And this support system that we were in, you've had that thing of it took a village to raise a child. So women back in that day had communities that if let's say Mwanaisha is going to the garden and she has 12 children and the 12th child is now the youngest, she will go with the 12th child on her back to the well and then maybe leave the 11 with me in the neighborhood. Or she would leave them home knowing that, but neighbor, they know what to do. So now your neighbors would help maybe discipline your children or mentor them or guide them or something. Even if not your neighbors, somehow you knew, I have this friend, I'm going to take my kids there. Oh, I'm going to do this. Noah will help me handle this. Or Noah's wife can do this. Or like, Emanzi's wife can do this. Or like somehow there was that. It wasn't scripted, but there was some sense of a village.
Yeah.
And now it was apparently the conversation went in the directions of we no longer have that because now we are in fences, in nuclear homes, or we are now more inclined to nuclear homes, and yet communities served women and children more than ever. Like they had always served us, but now we are breaking away from that. It is a 1 hour with Noah. They have their family in a fence. No one can help. Now, the trouble is the parents are now not present. So because they are not present, and they also don't have a community that would have filled the gap, and not the present of their non-present. Like we are present physically, like I am here, I'm here with you right now in this house. But like for me to actually know who are the friends of my child, who is he hanging out with, or who is she hanging out with? How is school for them? You understand? We don't have that time. So now the vans have come as well, and the school vans help drop kids or pick them up. And it looks like an incentive to make things easier or better for us, but they are a bit, So now I want to, do you think this support, the woman-to-woman support is diminishing, or it is more hard work now? Like before, it seemed to be in the social fabric. It was fluid. It was easy. And now women have to be a bit more intentional with the even you mentioned earlier that you have to build your community or create it or curate it. Is it now, does it have to be more intentional now, or can we go back to the roots and just have it know that, like, for us to know that I am because you are and we are because we all are? How do we go back to that? Or do you think that two don't connect at all?
Wow. Thank you, Hawa. You bring up very, very, very important points, and it just kept on taking my mind to so many things. Something I wanted to actually say on the previous, earlier on about women fighting each other and whatnot, and I wanted to say that is part of internalized patriarchy, that the system creates women to fight each other. There are some things in there that competitions created by men for women to fight each other. Going back to Hawa, you're very right. People actually had deeper connections those days. And I feel like we have the same, though it has evolved. We have that kind of, it has evolved, but I feel like women are actually working more together and more strategically together, because we noticed a problem, we are working with it, and now we know that no one has got your back like a girl can. Then it was because that is what they knew. They knew each other. They had each other. As you said that you have a family, you have children, and so it is another woman that you know that could help you. But now, because of the way the dynamics of the world and the spaces, I feel like we are doing it more strategically in partnerships, at work, in the way we do the things that we do, even digitally. You see how women have created their own digital communities that are working together, sisterhoods and whatnot, and trying to just work out things and work out together. I feel like it has evolved because also everything else is evolving. We're going into an evolving world.
Inevitably, yeah.
Of course, people are living in their gates and whatnot. It's going more digital. The relationships as well and the connections are also going into that way. And I feel like it is even stronger now, even in like the younger community. The younger communities, the girls are being girls, and they are trying to actually work together. They are working even with the older women. I think for me, my mentors are mostly older women. And
do you think the intergenerational support is there?
Yes.
I've met a lady. This is a very important mentor. And she was telling me, you young girls sit with each other. Nemwerimba. And she said that we are friends and as young girls, we have, what are we doing hanging out? Because she was like, back in their days, they were home, right? You go home, you're with your family, your dad, your mom, you're home, right? With family, then you go to work, then you come back. After, then you get married. And so somehow you are more pragmatic or realistic or objective with life. Like even the decisions you made were calculated, like, not calculated in the sense of mathing them, but you know that these are the consequences of these choices, so let me not do that. But now, as Tutula, I hang out with Mwanaisha, so after Kwerimba, I go back and also be like, no, Kala, it can't be me, Sha, what? Yet me, in my own life, in reality, I'm doing different things.
Do you guys think you are contradicting now?
So, I want to ask, I want to have these conversations and have the different strands in the public represented here. Do you think it is more of support, or we think we are supporting each other, but
and also support from where? From who? Because if you are getting it from the older generation, Mwanaisha was like, some of those people are the gatekeepers of patriarchy, right?
But we also have young girls that are gatekeepers. That's like
so regardless of who you are talking to, you could
regardless, even young girls, these are things that are passed down.
Yes,
but also they are still. When you were talking at that thing of the unnecessary competition. When I was reading The First Woman, I don't know if you've read The First Woman.
I have.
The First Woman by Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi. And the reason I liked it was she's Ugandan, Ugandan raised, birthed here, studied here, everything.
She's so relatable.
She wrote in English, and she mentioned the thing of where the competition came from, the characters that were there, Gibwa and Chirabo. And she mentions, she creates this, I like that she represented all women in the informal sector, the formal sector, like all women.
All her books do
But
that.
she mentioned that the competition comes because of Kweluma. And in that Kweluma, the image she paints is hens peck each other. So because the hens are together in a cage, you're caged. You're already oppressed. So instead of attacking anyone else, you're not going to attack the person caging you. You just keep...
That's internalized patriarchy. It is part of the system. That is part of the system, part of the ideology, that you break them to break each other.
Yes, and but so now for this one of...
The generation goes down. Kati okwerimba, I want to take two sides of okwerimba. First of all, it's important. I feel like it's important for us to have friendship relationships with older women.
Of course, I believe
it is
so.
Very key. They carry so much wisdom. They carry so much experience. They carry richness. There's so much richness in them. And then there's also the younger women. I think the younger women. So the difference is in approaches, in how we approach life. I think that is all, in how the younger women approach life, and how the older women approach life. So on the side of, first of all, you do need an older woman to speak to
mentors.
There's so many things we are going through that they have gone through already.
There's nothing new.
I mean, there are new things. They didn't struggle so much with social media.
That's
the
my
way we
next
are.
point, actually. I wanted
Like
to hold
their
it.
approaches, first of all, if you look at the women in the activism space, their approaches to activism was different. The young people are more radical, banging tables. No, they are breaking walls. It is different. The other women are activists, are saying, let us take it
Diplomatically.
They're more
Let us
diplomatic.
be nice. Let us be. But where has niceness taken us? So
That's why you went to the approaches. We now see what you.
I'm going to let the women listen in.
Let's have decorum.
Help us answer
Let's
that.
have decorum. What has decorum done for us? So it is.
And you know, when you say that point, so me, that is where that's where my point of contention comes from. I
Same.
appreciate intergenerational dynamics, like of course, because I mean, you're more experienced, you have more knowledge. You brought us to where we are, so we are not starting from scratch, and I really respect that.
We
'cause
respect that.
You're started
We
as
are
starting. You know,
working-
starting is hard.
Exactly.
And, beginning is hard. Building upon is always easier. My concern, my question, my challenge usually comes from: are those experiences evaluated? Like, was there an assessment done that this served us, this did? Because now for me, I find myself when I get, and I really appreciate advice from mentors, but when I get my mentorship, I now sit down to actually evaluate that. Did this
Very
serve my
true.
mom?
Exactly.
This served my mom. I'll take it on. Did this serve her? This didn't serve her. So this I'm dropping. And that's how I get it. But then I feel like...
have different lived experiences.
Oh, yes. But then I feel like as an older woman, for her, I don't think she has sat down to actually evaluate her own experiences to now
And for
know...
the people around her as well.
To now know this, I'm passing it down. This, I need to find out inhibiting it and not to feed it or fuel it. Yeah.
And I think that is important for us also as young people.
True,
That
that's true.
when because we are becoming the older women as
That's
well.
true, that's
that
true.
We stop to acknowledge the past, look at it, look at the experiences. Did it work well for me? If it worked well for me, did it work well for the other women?
Yeah,
As
that's
well.
true.
Is it something I want my daughters or the other women to go through? But also adaptation, like adapting to the present.
That's true.
Because
And
now I
adjusting
think
accordingly.
the whole gap usually between the younger women and the older women is just the adaptation to the changing times. Because you have lived experience, I agree, and you could advise me to do something. It could have worked in 1950s. It could have worked, but it is not going to work in 2025. So being able to understand that kind of changing times and
modifying the experience
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that is all, and that is also where the how comes in, of how for us those days we did this, we had diplomacy, we worked. Did it work? Okay, it worked then, but is it going to work in 2025? Because also the people we are working with and the problems are also evolving. Modern solutions require modern problems require modern solutions.
Talking about modern solutions,
yes.
Do you think technology has aided women relationships, and if not, how can technology help improve the relationships between women?
Oh, yes. Technology has made it easier for women to speak up and out. It has helped so many things, but I think for me, something that stands out is the fact that it is connecting women all over the world.
Globally, that's
and
true.
Globally, and telling them, I feel you. I know what you're going through. This is what you should do because I did it this way. If, for example, you look at the TikTok community of women who are survivors of sexual assault, there's that Medusa challenge, for example. I was going through. Women from different parts of the world were talking about their sexual assault experience. They were outing their perpetrators, and we never had that. That women are outing their perpetrators. They are talking about being survivors, like speaking about, first of all, sexual assault as
an abomination.
An abomination. We grew up in communities where they
some sort of
protect
guilt.
perpetrators.
Patriarchy.
They protect perpetrators, they forgive them, apparently. You get? Where we grew up in communities where men were not being, like, there's no justice being served, there's no referral system, there's no reporting mechanism. But with technology, and I've gone directly to social media, for me, I find that so powerful, and it is so many things we can do with it. There are cons that come along with it, but the pros, we can work so much with it. And for me, I feel like that again has created so many connections for women. There's so many spaces, that networks that I'm in with women I've never even met, but we speak online, we have conversations online, we come up with solutions online, we get tips. Someone in the UK is telling you, if you do a business like this, do this and this, and you're in Uganda and you're doing it because it is working for them. You get what I'm saying? Like, it is a tool that we need to work on and work better. I know questions like, we've had cybersecurity issues for women and whatnot come up with tech, and we're going to figure that out. But the power that technology has alone in creating bonding, creating community, creating networking, creating collaborations for women. You've seen people networking and working, and they have never even met each other.
That's true.
And because there's a phone, there's Zoom, and there's whatnot, so it is really beautiful.
Wow.
So as we talk about building together and the benefits, I like how you throw more light on the online community and also the physical community. How do women create safe spaces
For each other.
How do I know that you have gone through this experience, maybe business-wise, or you have gone through sexual harassment or sexual assault, or you go through cramps and menstruation and all the pains it comes with, or PMDD, PMS, like all the challenges they come. Some by merely existing as female, some, by social concepts. How do we create safe spaces so that women don't have the fear that what they share is going to be weaponized against them?
Thank you so much, Hawa. For me, when you said that question, my mind was running to myself, like a self-reflection, and which I've had before. That for anyone to create a safe space to exist, you need to be your own safe space. Like, you know how you said, pecked hens peck others. Every time you have pain, every time you have trauma, every time you do not love yourself enough, every time you don't recognize these, you are not going to be able to create a safe space for other people to express themselves, to speak to you, to collaborate with you, because you have not healed yourself. First of all, you're having this pain, this baggage, this trauma that you're moving around with, and you're also pouring it to others. And that is something also our parents, our grandparents, our mothers had, because again,
we are victims.
They didn't know any better. They didn't know that they are lashing out to their children because they were lashed out to as children. And they never ever stopped to think of the effect of that. They didn't know they are telling their children to tova yo mubufumbo when they're being beaten, because she never left when she was also in a toxic marriage. So that is also what they knew, that they didn't know any better. And if you don't know any better, that is the most you can also give out. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So for us as women to create safe spaces, we should be safe spaces for our own selves. Like, if you sit alone, what are your thoughts with yourself? Are they negative thoughts, first of all? Do you even believe in yourself? Are you letting imposter syndrome take over you? Every time you are negative, every time you think that way about yourself, you're going to become a bully. Is that what I can say? Like,
you're going to bleed on other people because you don't want to face yourself.
Exactly. And you'll never even know that you're bleeding. So that is where fights coming and whatnot. And this is not only even a woman thing. It's for everyone as humans. This just applies to everyone. But for us as women, being able to create spaces, safe spaces, you need to be able to have a safe space within yourself, you need to be gentle with yourself. To be able to be gentle with other people, you should be
Extend grace.
to be
kind.
Exactly, be kind to yourself, be graceful with yourself, to be able to be kind to other people, to be able to understand other people, and to be able to also put yourself in other people's shoes at all times, and not be the person who is going to judge, or just not being that person. But also, it does not mean you're not going to have the difficult conversations with your community, with your people. Sometime back, I was having a conversation with a friend, and we're talking about safe spaces as well. And a safe space is going to mean that we shall have the difficult conversations as well. We are not going to bypass.
Be diplomatic.
Yes, be diplomatic. We're not, no, this is not going well. You need to do this. Because who else is going to tell you if it is not your
Candid
girl?
and raw.
Exactly. Yes, we are candid and raw. And we should all take it that way, because we also want self-improvement, we want to grow, and we want to collaborate. How are we going to be better as women entrepreneurs, as women working together, if we do not remove that dirt in our eyes ourselves? So who's going to do it for us? So we need to be able to do it graciously, but we also need to be able to take it in.
Take responsibility.
Exactly, and accountability.
Yeah.
So,
And before Noah comes in, I know Noah wants to but this, that.
who sent
last
you,
but
Noah?
not
Who
least.
sent you?
No, it's okay. You girls shine. It's a
I just
women's
want to.
episode,
No, actually,
so-
I'm asking because me and Noah, we have conversations, and even with my other friends, and there is an ongoing debate of the women, you women, us the women. There's been so many initiatives that have been created or established to support women, or to empower the girl child, to support them through education, to support them through school, to support them through businesses, if there is this grant or what and stuff like that. And there is an ongoing debate of, aren't they too empowered for the boy child, or they are leaving the boy child behind? And I know that it's Women's Month, and we are talking about women majorly, like the boys are not, they'll have their month or their day.
Yeah.
I just want you to throw more light on, do you think that women empowerment or women breaking barriers and collaborating or building together is actually sabotaging men, or is it actually coming in handy? That was a deep sigh.
I know.
No. I always hate to have this conversation, and it always comes up when we're speaking about girls, we're speaking about women. Guys, even in 2025, the most oppressed gender is the women and the girls. If you go, I'm going to give you an example of Uganda. The situation is bad. It's still bad. There's so much work we have to do for girls and women's empowerment, emancipation, education. It is still so bad. So if I hear conversations of we are leaving men behind where when they're in front, are they even behind?
Behind where?
It is us who are
a
behind.
men's
Again,
one.
I'm looking behind. I'm not seeing anyone. Who are we leaving? Because we're trying to catch up and go in front. There's still cases of femicide happening. The women who there's so much gender-based violence, sexual gender-based violence. There's so much misogyny. There's so much unpaid for care work women are giving at home. There's so much
But there are societies that are going through the same thing for men. For example, I saw a story in Busheng where women were beating their men. And the men,
stats.
Yes, and the men were keeping quiet because they had no word. You would see me walking around with a bruise.
Noah.
And then you said, me and my boy had a fight.
If you put 10 women moving around with bruises, for every 10 women, it would be one man. Let's use statistics. Let's use numbers, guys. If you go to Bushenyi right now, and we brought in women who are going through domestic violence, if they are 100, we are going to have only 10 men.
That's not to
Do you
downplay the
understand?
men's experience.
We are not,
no, mate.
and why we're not downplaying
We are
the
not
men's
invalidating it
experiences.
or
We're not
downplaying
invalidating.
it.
But why do you have to bring up the men's situations when we bring about women? You are actually downplaying
Yes, I hear you. I hear you on
the
that.
women's experiences.
Yeah.
You get,
Yeah.
and for us,
So
I
what
mean,
you are
work for the men.
essentially saying is we should get a time and discuss men.
Men's things.
Let's not
When
bring
I've gotten
it
out of here,
independently.
Yes.
then you bring the men to speak and sort their issues. For now, I'm talking for the
You're
girls.
talking
When you
about
say
women.
one time we hosted a browser by the fire of men's mental health, and then someone told me, but Hawa, you see the problem with men? They don't want to solve their problem. You see,
That
it's
is
you the women now who's bringing up the
true.
men's mental
That
health.
is
I'm
true.
like, but guys,
They remember that they have problems
When
when
you
we're
bring-
solving the girls' problem. Then they say, hey, but there are two boys.
Because maybe the entire problem for us is the girl child.
just create a day for men and
for
just,
men
we have men's
and
mass.
solve your
I'm
problem.
going to ask one last simple question before we close off this episode. What can we do as men to support women better?
I think let women be.
It's that simple.
Yeah, let the
Me, I
women
have.
be.
I'll elaborate.
How elaborate?
Yeah, but-
let women be and get out of women's businesses. How please take over. I don't have kind words right now.
She doesn't have any kind words for
I want
men.
to find
No, let women be is kind, but it really is kind. I think what men can do to help women is one, men should really first deal with themselves. Like, let them be better human beings. As like in and in of themselves, as a male being existing in this world where you have to interact with women. Rethink your unlearn, relearn, and learn on your own to be a better human being as a human being. So because if you are a human a good human being as male, you're not going to just be domestically violent. You're not going to get drunk and take it out on your wife back at home like you didn't see other women where you were drinking from, or on your way. You are not going to make excuses. You are not going to be defensive. You are not going to confuse being held accountable with your ego being deflated. So for me, it is be a good human being, a better version of yourself as a man. And then also learn to understand women. Like, I feel like patriarchy, of course, helped men, but women do a lot to understand men, to understand that my brother, my husband, my this. Men don't understand women. I hear men say, but I don't menstruate. What do you want me to do? Like,
Yeah, so we want them to
understand what
listen.
menstruation means.
And
You
believe.
don't have to go through something to understand it. Just know this, my sisters suffers PMDD or PMS. Understand what PMS is, understand what PMDD is. Like, search for this knowledge because you are relating with these beings so that you now know that if she is going through this, I should not do this, or this is how I should help her. Understand women's bodies because when she gives birth, she is going to have postnatal depression and maybe it's going to affect. Or maybe now we have a child and the dynamic is going to change. Or maybe if I'm working, then I know that these are the dynamics. These are the dynamics, or this is what the woman is going through. Because the truth is, a man is not going to live through all the experiences of a woman, and likewise, a woman is not going to live all the experiences of a man by nature, by nature. But understanding may not get you at 150% because you're not a woman, but you could have an insight of this is the support she needs at this time, and I'll give her this.
Well,
And asking the person,
think
like, if
too,
your
maybe
sister is down or your daughter, say, what support do you need right now? Like, cool, like, let's get the hot water bottle for you. You don't need it because you don't have crumbs, but you know how to buy it.
Yeah,
Well.
so we do it with toxic masculinity. Yeah. No, that is
Kaisao,
that's
what I know
it.
Kaisao,
No,
but-
Kaisao. Please believe women's experiences.
Yeah.
Believe women's experiences. And don't be that guy who says not all men.
Basing on the minute, the negligible statistic to the majority.
well, thank you very much, Mwanaisha. And I believe my brothers have heard. We have heard and we are going to do better. I am going to represent the men. We are going to do better at understanding ourselves so that we can deal better with the women in our lives.
I just want Mwanaisha to just give us 3 parting shots, like the 3 things, like 3 simple pieces of advice you would leave to young women out there, and then we close.
1, say no a lot.
It's like say no in capital letters.
Say no and stand it. Like, stand it. Those no's are going to take you places. Do not play with your money. As a woman, do not play with your money.
What's playing with your money?
I feel like we need a whole
not-
episode to just go
Discuss
into
money.
women's money.
Your money choices, financial literacy, do not play with it. So, nice girls don't get rich, so don't play with your money. And pray. Whatever your divine being is, have some divinity above
Spiritual
there.
something going on.
Yes, whoever your spiritual being is, have something going on there. Please pray, because at the end of the day, there is no particular formula to this life thing. Like, you cannot do as someone else does and the results will be the same. No, there's no particular formula. There's nothing. You just need the grace of prayer, grace of God. Yeah, those are my 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much for making the time, for availing yourself, and thank you very much for the parting shots. We are so happy that you made the time to come through, and we are so happy that you have shared what you have shared with our listeners. And to you, our listeners, we pledge to bring you meaningful conversations and impactful conversations. All you need to do is just subscribe to our YouTube channel, Youth on the Wheels, and also our social media platforms, and you will stay updated. And we'll have these conversations with you. We promise to bring value. All you need to do is just tune in. Until next time, let's keep the conversations flowing
and the wheels turning.
Ciao.
If you liked what you heard, subscribe to our podcast, share with a friend, and follow us on social media to stay updated on new episodes and behind-the-scenes insights. Until next time, keep the wheels turning and the conversations flowing.